Welcome back. I went over 1,000 tech articles last week, and these are the best. Let's get into it. Algae is the future. Apparently, microalgae can be turned into fuel. Yeah, like jet fuel. Yeah, you know the green slimy stuff that kind of sometimes grows in the gutters or maybe in your bathtub or something. Yeah, that stuff. That stuff can be turned into fuel that can drive your car or a jet. And this isn't just theory. In 2011, United Airlines made an algae-powered passenger flight from Chicago to Houston. Who knew? Well, apparently it can be done. And the algae ponds that grow this stuff, they consume CO2. They are renewable. They're growable. You can't just grow new dinosaurs and compress them down. And unfortunately, it's not cheap. So the scientists are working on making it more affordable to grow these algae and make more fuel for less money, I guess, so that eventually we can run our cars on algae poop. Apparently the internet is now a necessity. President Obama this last week said the internet is not a luxury, it is a necessity in order to grow the brains of our citizens and create developers and tech-savvy people, I suppose. Apparently 1 in 4 Americans don't have internet in their homes, although 98% have access in other ways. Even so, you have access through the local library or through work or through whatever it may be. But now Google is joining in by providing free internet to specific public housing authority properties. So hey, free internet for some people. That's great. I'm not a huge fan of the government stepping in and mucking with stuff like this, but I guess internet's a great thing. If you have a problem with that, apparently now there is no excuse to not write to your congressman or state representative. Democracyio, the website, so if you go http://democracy.io, it is ridiculously easy to figure out who your representatives are and send them a letter. Email. So you go to the website, you type in your address, you hit next, check or uncheck the existing boxes there, hit next, type what you want to say to your representative, and hit send. It is as easy as it will ever be. So there's no excuse. Also vote, because in this country you have a say in what the government does. Xiaomi has made a very, very thin TV. Now Xiaomi, if you don't know, is basically they're the Apple of China. They're the really big tech company that does everything, and they do it really, really well. Initially, way back when they started, they actually did seem to be trying to copycat Apple, but I think they're standing on their own just fine now. So this new TV is called the Mi TV 2S, and it runs Android. It has a 4-core processor, 1.4 gigahertz, 4K display, which is a video type that's so high resolution that I won't need one for quite some time. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 2 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of memory. It's 48 inches, so that's like a TV. And it's 9.9 millimeters thick. So that's like 0.4 inches. That's like this thick for the TV itself. It's ridiculous. You have to see the pictures on this thing. It's beautiful, it's magnificent, it's so thin. And it's being sold in China for the equivalent of $485. Wow. I want one. This just in, Linux is better. Better than the other ones. So the top 500 supercomputers in the world, of the top 500 in the world of all computers that run, all the really big heavy lifting stuff, 486 run Linux, 12 run Unix, One runs a mix of operating systems, and one runs Windows. Apple's not in there. I guess it kind of goes in under the Unix, but not really. But yeah, Linux is super powerful and super great. The only problem with Linux is they aren't fantastic with their user interface at this point, but it's so much faster and so much better and so much more secure than any other operating system. That popped up in the news today, thought I'd toss it in. An update on Sky City. So I heard about Sky City first in 2013, which is when this project started. So 2 years ago, a group called Broad Group, kind of a generic name, in China wanted to build the world's tallest building in 90 days using prefab technology. So they build all this stuff in a factory somewhere, and then they start and they just put it all up. And you have a building in very, very, very short amount of time. So this isn't the first time they've done something like this. They've actually done a 30-story building in 15 days and a 57-story building in 57 days. Watching the time lapse on these things is fantastic. If you get a chance, look up Broad Group's super fast building techniques and you'll be blown away. It's just amazing. So the plan is for this building to be over half a mile tall, the Sky City, not the littler ones. Half a mile tall. Man, that's tall. It's going to have malls, schools, hospitals, police stations, office buildings, apartments. I mean, it's a city. It's a city in a building. It's really, really cool. If you ever played SimCity, Arcologies. Just saying. Due to lack of government approval, they've actually been delayed from 2013 until now. And they're hoping that this is going to continue forward at some point in the next couple of years. Once they actually start building, it should only take 90 days, is what they're claiming. I really, really hope that they can get this thing approved, because I want to see that thing go up, and I want to make sure it stays up. And I want to see how all the tests go on, you know, whether or not it's earthquake resistant and all that funness. Currently, though, it is a big hole in the ground where they dug for the foundation, but they haven't actually started building yet. And there's a fish farm there because a local farmer figured, hey, there's a hole with water in it. I'll put fish in there and farm them. Google beacons. They're not called beacons. It's called the Eddystone. You might have remember a few years back in 2013. There's a lot of stuff from 2013 coming back. Yeah. Anyway, the Apple iBeacons. Now, most people forgot about the iBeacons pretty quickly because they didn't become very popular in the world except for in Apple stores. So an iBeacon is basically a Bluetooth technology for basically spreading data that's location-based. So now, 2 years later, Google is coming out with an open source project called Eddystone, which uses the same type of idea, but it's open source, so it's going to be rolled into Android and into iOS and into whoever else wants to use it because it's open source. And so it's location-based data. Like, you walk into a restaurant and you can check your phone and say, give me the location-based stuff, and it can give you maybe the menu. If you walk into a bus station, you can get the bus routes. If you walk into a park, maybe at the, when you come into the entrance of a park, you can, get a map of the park and some of the amenities that they have there. Or maybe you walk into an event and you want to see what the schedule is, or a conference, and you want to know who's speaking where, along with a map of what's going on. You can just pull that up right on your phone based on where you are and the ability to sense these location-based rocks, basically. And last, and weirdest, Melbourne, Australia, a while back, assigned IDs and email addresses to trees throughout the city. Now this was specifically so that citizens, if they found a problem with a tree, they saw a tree started to rot or fall over, or something was wrong, they could email the city and say, hey look, this tree's got something wrong with it, somebody should take a look. Well, people have started writing emails to these trees. I mean, a lot of people have started writing these trees. And city employees are responding as these trees. And so there are people writing back and forth to trees. Which is weird. But it's happening. I just grabbed one of the examples. I read through some of these. They're pretty hilarious. Some of them are just thankful, and some of them are actual questions about the nature of being a tree. Some of them are political. Some of them are just whimsical. This one says, "Dear Algerian oak, thank you for giving us oxygen. Thank you for being so pretty. I don't know where I'd be without you to extract my carbon dioxide. I would probably be in heaven. Stay strong and stand tall amongst the crowd." Well, that's it for this week. See you next time.